And there was a lot of parallels between the fight between Winter Soldier, Captain America, and Iron Man in Civil War. They even played some Civil War themes, like the music, which I thought was good. You just, saw them all kind of fight, and then at the end, Bucky drops the shield at Falcon's feet, kind of way that the Captain America dropped the shield at Iron Man, but for different reasons, like take up this mantle or I don't want this mantle, that type of thing.
Right.
And
take this shit like you should have.
Yeah. And then we see John Walker go before the very senator that took that shield from Sam in bad faith and just gave it to somebody else. And like, yeah, you don't get to represent us anymore, and we're going to take away all your benefits and everything, and it's only because of your service to the country that you're not going to jail. And I'm like, and he kind of called him out. He was like, you made me. I did what you asked me to do. And yeah, he snapped and he killed somebody, but how many people has he killed in the service of the country and it was good? Right?
Right.
And it's not even that he killed that Flag Smasher, because if that happened in that warehouse behind closed doors, he would still be Captain America. Mm-hmm. Like, straight up. Yeah. I think everybody knows that. And that's what's kind of fucked up about the situation. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
The one thing that I didn't buy about I'm going back to the fight earlier. I didn't buy that he was putting up that good of a fight against Bucky. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Bucky's been in the game way longer.
Yeah.
And he's fought like alien beings and shit. And
you know what?
Issues with John Walker.
Yeah, I had a thought about that. Do you remember how he went toe to toe several times with Captain America, like Steve Rogers, and actually came out on top?
Yeah.
Steve Rogers was holding back, but John Walker was like in a murderous super soldier rage, and I don't think he was holding back at all. And I feel like it was just Bucky's holding back because he still has that piece of the Winter Soldier inside of him that he feels like he needs to subdue. And again, we'll get to that later with him, a conversation between him and Sam. But John Walker had no tethers on him,
Yeah.
And I think that gave him a bit of an edge in the battle. So while I agree with you, I think pound for pound, I think the Winter Soldier is a better fighter. John Walker's nothing to sneeze at because he already has, all those decorations. He's already a highly skilled soldier to begin with and a strong fighter. And the serum augmented that. And then he's crazy. He's like distressed and distraught over like the death of his friend. And he's just like, you're going down. Like, he's not holding back at all. He's got no emotional ties to Bucky whatsoever, right? Whereas Bucky, I think, is holding back because he doesn't want to turn back into that killer he used to be. And I think that's what handicapped him in that fight.
Okay.
Because I started out thinking
I can buy that.
Right? Because I was like, how is he having so much trouble with him when he used to whoop Captain America's ass all the time? Oh.
Right. And then Falcon's getting his ass kicked, and I was like, well, yeah.
Yeah. But, man, if he can't use them wings, though, man.
Boy, he can use them wings.
John Walker ripped him off, but for a while he was doing good. That was a cool scene, by the way, when he grabbed his wings and, like, ripped them off when he had him subdued on the ground.
My wings.
Yeah. No, it was really neat.
Why you do me like that?
Yeah. So, yeah, he gets kind of disgraced. He gets approached by what I think is probably a secret operative. I think she's in the comics. She either works sometimes for Nick Fury, but eventually defects to Hydra. She could be working for the Power Broker. Who knows? Maybe the Power Broker is affiliated with Hydra.
In the comics, she goes by Madam Hydra sometimes.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Played by Julie Louis-Dreyfus, pretty much channeling her character from Veep, I felt like. But
yeah.
So we haven't seen the last of John Walker, who will probably... I mean, there was a credit scene after the show where he was fashioning his own shield out of his metals.
Right, out of regular metal.
Yeah.
We'll see how that works out for him.
Well, he's super, so I'm sure that shield will hurt a lot.
Yeah, it ain't gonna bounce back.
Mm-mm. And Zemo, we get to see him in this episode. He's in Sokovia. Winter Soldier shows up, threatens him with the gun, but then proves once again that he's not that old Winter Soldier. He doesn't kill him. He actually had the Dora Milaje roll up and handed him over to them. They said they were going to take him to the raft, which is interesting because if you remember, Baron Zemo actually led a Suicide Squad style team of bad guys called the Thunderbolts, I think. And it was full of villains who were sent to the raft. So I'm wondering if that's what they're gearing up for later on. You know what I mean?
That would be very, very nice.
Yeah, pretty neat. They have words, which I thought was interesting. Didn't they say that Bucky needs to stay out of Wakanda's sight for a while? Like he might be in trouble?
I think he's just saying, he needs to lay low.
Yeah.
Just chill out.
Yeah, which I thought was interesting. I'm like, because he did turn Zemo in. I mean, I get that you're mad that he let him loose, but he did turn him in. He helped you find him. But okay, fair enough. Fair enough. They're not a very forgiving people, and I get that. That's how they stay guarded. That's how they protect their own. So I get that. But Then
I thought it was interesting that they were like, yeah, so we're just gonna take him to the raft. What? What? Why wouldn't you take him back to a like? You see what I'm saying?
Because Thunderbolts, man,
so bad.
Yeah.
I'm just saying they wanted Zemo so bad, and
right?
Like, yeah, we're just gonna take him to the raft. This American prison.
Yeah, maybe they just didn't. They didn't want somebody like him in their country. They didn't want him to have knowledge of what they're all about. Because again, Zemo doesn't really know what Wakanda's all about. I don't think. So why expose that? But they want him to be brought to justice. So maybe they thought the raft was a good compromise because it's highly secure. Who knows? I kind of agree with you. I'm like, why don't they just take him out or kill him? Yeah,
kill him.
I don't know. But that's what they decided to do, and that's cool. One of the hardest hitting moments or the biggest impacts for me, I think, is when Sam Wilson goes back to Isaiah Bradley's home.
Yeah.
And he's trying to get guidance from he says he's trying to understand, right? And Isaiah Bradley just goes through his history, him and his comrades who were experimented on. It all comes straight from the comics, it sounds like.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of parallels to Tuskegee experiments, and they pretty much erased his history. Sam wants to help him get that out there, and he's like, no, you think they won't kill me? They will. And he has deep distrust for the government in America. And again, based on things we talked about earlier, kind of legit, we're drawing real-world parallels here.
Mm-hmm.
And he said something that I think really had an impact on Sam, and an impact on me, really. It was, do you think America would accept a black Captain America, and do you think any self-respecting black man would take up the mantle?
Boy, that hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah. And then we cut to we cut to a scene later. His sister kind of hints at wanting to talk to him about it, but then him and Bucky are throwing the shield around, and Bucky's like, I don't think me or Steve Rogers really even considered what it meant to hand a black man the shield.
Yeah, they were basically like, we don't see color.
Yeah.
You're just my friend Sam.
You know what? And again, it surprises me whenever white people do that, because that hasn't been my experience. As soon as he handed the shield, I remember Infinity War, I was just like, I don't know, guys. Are you going to go there? Because I just saw him with it, and I was like, people aren't going to like that. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was the discussion we had in our circles, right? But I forget that there are a lot of white people out there. I mean, some of the leaders in my company remind me of this when we were talking about George Floyd last year, that can very easily and do often just completely forget about the fact that there is a separate experience for black Americans.
Yeah.
It's easy. There's large swaths of the country where there are no people of color, and white people just live in their bubbles, and all they see is what's represented on the media, which is a campaign as old as the 13th Amendment to frame black people as criminals.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, we ended slavery with the loophole except for punishment as a crime, and then the focus of the powers that be, the police and the government from that point on, was to label black people as more criminal than white people, more apt to be criminal, and to demonize them to this day through propaganda, news coverage, and legislation so that they would be easier to imprison or target for arrest.
Oh, yeah. Got to make those license plates somehow.
Right? And I mean, that accelerated even more when we tied industry to the prison industrial complex, So, again, real world parallels. We're getting deep on this episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I like it. I think Captain America is inherently political. I mean, it's called fucking Captain America. His first issue was punching out the world's most notorious white nationalist. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think ultimately he is going to take up the mantle, and I think he is going to take the idea. And again, there are arguments to be made for either side. A lot of youth say, hey, fuck that, burn it down. There's no ability to reform. But I think he's going to go the reform route. I think he's going to take it, make it his own, and go, I am America. Moving forward, this is me. This is what we're going to do. Yeah. Right? And for better or worse, I mean, it's a way to go about it. I mean, what do you think?
Man, I dig it. Like you said, he's like, I'm just going to make this decision. It's going to be for me, and you can get on or get out of the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not super subtle that his nephews keep calling him Uncle Sam, Uncle Sam.
Oh, right. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, that all season, Uncle Sam. I mean, Uncle even Sam. His sister made a joke like, "Yeah, Uncle Sam," because he worked for the government.
Right.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
It's not super subtle.
Yeah.
I love the montage and the stuff where they were fixing the boat and he was training and Winter Soldier's flirting with his sister. I know.
And
Kristen was like, yeah, girl, get you a super soldier.
Yeah, I basically said the same thing, and then I was like, wait a minute. You know what? I was like, they trying to make us think Bucky is into black women, and then I was like, wait. He spent years surrounded by nothing but beautiful black women in Wakanda. Of course, he's developed. Of course, he likes some black women now.
Yeah,
he did it before. He love him now.
Yeah, if he didn't like Mark Gay before, he's going to pretend to like him now. He's trying to get in there.
Oh, Trouble Man, I love that.
Oh yeah, no, that album's great. Yeah, no,
me and
Sam listen to it all the time. Yeah. Hey, girl.
Yeah, I was like, oh. Okay.
I like Sam's sister. I like everybody in this. I don't think there's a single character I don't like. There's one more thing I want to mention before we wrap up, unless you have anything else to say. And I want to talk about Sharon and how she actually hired the French guy who kidnapped the U.S. soldier in the first episode, called him again and hired him to work with the Flag Smashers.
Yeah. What
is up with her? I think they might try to make her the power broker.
I hope she's not the power broker. Oh my God. I would hate that so much.
So
I'd get over it, but I would hate it.
Let me challenge you on this. Why do you not want her, and not to say I don't agree, but I want to get your opinion. Why do you not want her to be the power broker?
Simply because you start off as this kick-ass U.S. agent, and then, oh no, I'm on the run. I go to Madripoor, which has been an established criminal underworld like haven for, I can assume, is decades. And then she just shows up, and now she's the power broker.
You think it's just too cheap? Like there's not enough history because we know where she came from.
Yeah, because there's literally only a 5-year. The blip is only 5 years.
Yeah.
So that's not. I don't think that's enough time for her to literally become the head of a criminal empire as this random white woman from America. That's just me.
You know what? I agree. It
doesn't.